All right, what up YouTube? Let's dive right into it today. Bitcoin price predictions, and I got a great Kadena Vortex price prediction video launching tomorrow at about 10 a.m. Definitely hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, join the squad, and let's dive right in. So right now, looking at Bitcoin and it's making Bitcoin moves, is this going to be the next push to the upside? You know, I personally thought that these two pushes to the upside over here, where it started to come down here and push back up, I was like, okay, great. That's the last time that we're going to see Bitcoin at 59,000 or 58,000. And then it started to push up and it went all the way up to 69. I was like, yep, here we go, baby, 75, 80K in sight. And then it started to retrace down. And once it broke back below this peak right here, that's where I was like, uh-oh, where we might be coming down again. So sure enough, came right back down. I honestly, when it found bottom here, when we had that big drop, I was like, okay, we got one more big drop coming down, right? Boom, started to come down, and at, I forget where it was, but somewhere in here at like 60 or 61, I started to take some more longs. I originally started out with just a couple $100 over here, added another couple under here. And then when it came all the way down here, I dropped in another K and I got another grand in there, which ended up bringing my average entry point back down to 58.01, I think is my exact entry point on this long. So I'm hoping that this is going to be the big push up, right? Because I'm going to try to attempt to hold this long for quite some time. Now we're going to see if I can hold it all the way up. If I can, I'm going to try to ride it, I think, to like 85. Because just judging based off of this market structure, the next legs up is going to be calling for 84,050. 84,500. So that's definitely gonna be my next leg up. Now the question we have to see is like, where is the resistance? Where can I be really confident that we're actually gonna continue to push back to the upside? And if we jump over here to into the block, a lot of people will say that this is resistance, right? Because there's people holding at these addresses, but I don't think that it really is resistance. Like, I don't think Bitcoin's gonna have a hard time just based off of how big these balls were here a minute ago at 56, 57, 58, 59. And now we're back up there pushing towards the, you know, the upper 60s again. These balls over here, these red balls, I think that these people are wanting to stay in the game. I don't think that just because price pushes back up there, they're going to be trying to take profits, because I think a majority of us are pretty confident that hyperinflation is setting in. If hyperinflation goes up again, you might see the, I forget what the Bitcoin maximalists call it. It's like the rapid adoption of Bitcoin pretty much on a global scale. We have people like Peter Thiel or whatever his name is, just like warning, like saying canary in a coal mine, guys. Like, he is legit saying that the feds are at canary in a coal mine crisis level.
It's again, we have the sort of epistemic closure in the form of, you know, everybody jumping onto MMT theories, or, you know, theories that you can print as much money as you want to, there will never be inflation, at, of course, precisely the moment when they're wrong, precisely the moment when no dissent is allowed. I think one of my sort of incredibly big misses of the last decade, I did some, but not as much as I should have, was not buying enough Bitcoin, not buying enough crypto. But surely what it is telling us is that we are at a crisis moment for the Fed. It is a canary in the coal mine. It is, the crypto market is the pure money market, and it is telling us that the epistemically closed bubble around fiat money in the US is heading towards some crisis point. You know, the Wizard of Oz is always this metaphor on Fed, on central banking, and I've sort of thought that maybe we're close to a Toto moment in the Fed, where the little dog is pulling the curtain aside from, you know, the Holy of Holies, and you realize that there's nobody there, nothing's really going on. We've had sort of these preliminary questions about the nature of the stock trading and things like this, and without going into the details of that, when you start asking these questions, you know the institution is in trouble. It is so over its limb, so out on a limb, and so much at a point where something is going to break. And again,
like, he is legit saying that the feds are at canary in a coal mine crisis level. We've never seen anything like this. You know, inflation is running rampant. They can't slow it down. They're continuing to print more money. They were trying to pass that. Like, you have to ask yourself the question, like, why were they trying so hard to pass a bill for another $1.7 trillion when we literally are, when hyperinflation is just running rampant? You want to throw more money down the drain? Like, you want to give out more free money? You want to spend more? For what? Because the second that they stop putting money out there, oh my gosh. Like, the S&P 500, I'll show you guys what I mean here. Check this out. So you can see like this market trajectory that we are on here in 2001, big market correction. Now look at this one. This is the one that most people that are watching this stream will remember. This was 07. So you see this trajectory that we are on right here in 07. This is what they were saying was the most overinflated market in history. It was so overinflated that anybody could have saw that coming, right? And just look at that trajectory, right? Then once we recovered from that, you know, no big deal, because check this out. Like, see this trajectory? That's normal and healthy, right? So if we just could continued on this same trajectory, like if the market continued to build healthy market structure and continue to grow at the rate it was, we would have been at the level that we were at. Because you can see the time frames down here. Inflation has gotten so bad that before, like if I drew this trajectory of this line to the right, it was about 2024, 2025 before we were supposed to be, you know, hitting, like, because price was only like right here, right? Like price was like just breaking up here, and we've just watched it every single week. S&P all-time high, S&P all-time high, S&P all-time high. Businesses are suffering. Like, we can't find employees. Like, the shelves at Walmart are empty. McDonald's, Taco Bell are closed every other day because they can't find enough employees. Like, our economy is suffering. There is just no human possibly way that the market is this strong. And every single big famous person is warning, like, get out of the stock market, get out of the stock market, because look at this, guys. Like, just look at the trajectory on this thing. And this is, you know, that was the trajectory before, and now it's like it's compounding. It is just getting worse and worse and worse and worse. Like, this is the trajectory we're on. And as long as they keep printing money, it's gonna keep going up and up until the shoe drops, guys. And when it drops, there is no support, like no good solid support, probably all the way down to 2100. So it's like, in my personal opinion, it's like a ticking, it's just like the clock is just ticking. When is it gonna happen? I don't know, but I bet it happens in less than a month period. I bet you watch the market drop by 50%. I think it's gonna be one of the most catastrophic drops that we've ever seen in history. And as this is gonna be happening, hyperinflation is gonna be at 15%. There's no stop. They got us in such a bad position. So like, our government wants to raise taxes and wants to tax these billionaires and do all these things so that they can print more money out of thin air, because they've been printing so much money that your 9-to-5 job isn't cutting it. Like, people can talk about being bearish on Bitcoin all they want. Bitcoin's going down and crypto's this and that. You're seeing, obviously, it's Hillary, so let's just keep that real. But like, when somebody as high up as Hillary is actually warning people that Bitcoin is a serious threat to the US dollar and cryptocurrencies, obviously she had no really idea what she was talking about when she was saying it, but on a presidential candidate level, Bitcoin's infiltrating, right? And if you choose to ignore it, now you see senators like, and like the governor of Florida, and then DeSantis, like, these guys are big players in the political arena, and they're becoming pro Bitcoin. They're becoming pro crypto. The mayor of Miami just started taking his salary in Bitcoin. Personally, if I could get paid by YouTube, I would. And I'm very curious to see how YouTube's going to do that, because Venezuela's currency is now Bitcoin. So in theory, YouTube should be working on how to implement and pay people. Now, how cool would that be if Pundi X brought crypto payments to YouTube? Or who's going to be the first crypto company that's going to help YouTube figure out a way to pay people in crypto, because Bitcoin is going to be a global currency in a very short period of time. And what we're looking at here is we're on the verge of banks being able to hold crypto in their bank. So if you want to interact, you want to get paid by your employer in Bitcoin, or you want to hold Bitcoin in a crypto wallet in your bank account, I don't think we're far away from that. And according to Michael Saylor, he's like, when banks start holding crypto, and they have to be close, because a lot of people are starting to move their money out of banks. So how do these banks keep making money if nobody wants to put their money in them? It's going to be interesting to see how this plays out. So do I think Bitcoin's going down? No. Do I think the economy might get bad enough to a point where like retail investors don't have extra money to put into crypto? Absolutely. That's the only thing that scares me. Tether FUD scares me. Evergrande scares me. But this is crypto, guys, and I think this is just the beginning. So even if something horrible happens, catastrophic, huge hyperinflation sets in, where are people going to put their money? And these big institutions and hedge funds and all these players want to get into crypto. And when all of them start losing faith in the US dollar and everybody starts waking up, and then you're talking about all these big hedge funds and investors like Michael Saylor that are now just dominating. I think Michael Saylor is going to go down in history as the world's best investor and the most famous investor in history because of his one play on Bitcoin. And I'm over here doing the same thing with Kadena, just stacking it, guys, because Kadena is the future. Like, I don't really need to say anything bad about any other blockchain. You're just going to watch what happens over the next couple of years, that it's the fastest, the strongest, the smartest, the hardest. So definitely stay tuned for my Kadena video, and let's dive into these price predictions. And this is just like how I tell people, right? Over here, when Bitcoin started to push up and I started along it down here, I was like, bet. Like, Bitcoin's going up for here, guaranteed, right? Because the market, like, it completed its retrace, hit the 0.382, started to push up. And like, as it was going up and I was adding more to it over here, I was like, you tell everybody this, bro. Like, when they make the market look so obvious that it's like a no-brainer that you should be going long, that's when you go short. And then when it started to come down here and really started to drop down, like when it hit 57 or whatever, and everybody's like, oh, that's gotta be, and then it came down and put in that lower low to 55 and everybody started panicking, At that point, I thought to myself, oh crap, maybe this is it. Maybe we are gonna come back down to like 40, you know? And then I said, that's it. As soon as my dumb money brain started thinking going short, that's when I doubled down. And that's when I put in that extra 1,000 on my long. So I definitely think because nobody was expecting it, they need to make the market look so bearish, because when they push up this next time and everybody's longing it, I think that like we can just look at Bitfinex shorts over here. Like take a look at like shorts, right? Like these are the times that the market crashed and you can see how high up the shorts were. And then you come over here and look at, I mean, like nobody's shorting Bitcoin right now. So that's the only unfortunate event, is that these exchanges aren't in the game of losing money. And if a majority of people are probably longing this right now, because like if you longed it here, got stomped out, re-entered, like when price got back up above here, this low, because that completed your ABC right here. So once you got back up above here, you long it. If everybody's longing it, same thing right here, A, B, C set up here. And then once we broke back above this previous high right here, you're long. And if you didn't take profits like me, you'd still be in that same long, paying funding. But the market was super bearish, so there was a couple days there where I was actually making funding. But for the most part, I think a lot of big people are trying to long this and trying to long it quite a ways up. So it's gonna be interesting, because I don't think it's gonna come back down, because we've just been consolidating so high up here. Like there's so much consolidation, so much money staying in this market. I really don't think we're going back down. But we always could, because there's always a big enough player that could sell off. But my target for Bitcoin on this next leg up is gonna be 83,000. And I think we could see that hit probably, hopefully by December 15th. Now there is that stretch from December 15th to about December 27th that the entire stock market shuts down. A lot of players in the stock market take a big chunk of profits out of the market and they take off the rest of the year. They go on vacation, they've been trading. Like that's kind of like the thing that Wall Street does, I guess. Happened to us in 2017. Go look at how the market played out. But it was like right after that, we've seen the most crazy parabolic altcoin season rally. The idea is that we want to see Bitcoin slow and steady go up, guys. For Bitcoin to go from 5,000 to 20,000 versus going from 60,000 to like 180 is such a drastic difference, because so much more money needs to come into the market cap of Bitcoin for it to really take a next step up. So if banks start buying it, if a player like YouTube, Amazon, Google, like all of these big tech names and big players in the game are not involved in crypto yet. I think we've seen Apple, maybe Apple's starting to. They got Apple Pay set up with Flux. Flux has some huge announcements. Flux just got in bed with Nvidia. Are you kidding me? This is what I'm saying when I say Flux has some big drop, like news coming. Like it's not just little news. Being the first crypto to bring into somebody like Nvidia to a decentralized network is freaking off the hook, guys. So I got some good news coming for Flux. Check out their Twitter, check out Kadena's roadmap. Like the crypto market is about to change, because for the last 4 years, Flux and Kadena just sat in the corners, right? Building, rewriting their own coding language, really analyzing markets, seeing what every other big name crypto company did, how they failed, where their bottlenecks were, what wasn't done right, how they marketed, everything. And they sat in the shadows and they built quality products. And now it's really their time to shine. When Kadena DeFi pops off, you guys got to see my next video on Kadena, because it's going to lay it out. Just like I laid out the first part of this vortex, I'm going to lay out the next part of the vortex. And going into like 2030, like by 2025, it's going to be really Kadena's, like, I think it flips ETH by 2024, maybe 2025, we'll see. But after that, like once Kadena gets going, there's going to be nothing to stop it. It'll just be these other, and when I say there's nothing to stop it, I'm trying to get you guys to understand the fact that these applications, Avalanche, Ethereum 2.0, Solana, right? There's so much money that's gonna be coming into these ecosystems. They all can have their special thing, right? I'm just talking about like which one do I think is gonna be the next Ethereum. It's gonna be Kadena. And I think the rest are just gonna kind of compete in the shadows, or like doing their own thing, whether that's like E&J in gaming, or, you know, Harmony's getting really big into the gaming sector too. There's just so much games out there that really, like if one blockchain just onboarded something like Call of Duty, right? Just one game could be enough to take a blockchain to some serious high levels. So, you know, mix that in combination with everything else that's happening in the crypto space and how many different blockchains and businesses are still not involved with crypto. There's plenty of room for everybody to grow. But there's only room to be one gold. There's only room to be one cash. And that's most likely gonna be Bitcoin and Kadena. Unless new tech comes out and changes that, or the SEC does something insane with regulations and regulates every single crypto, which I can't see them doing. Flux we know isn't, Bitcoin we know isn't, and Kadena is still up in the air. But check out my next video. CADX to the moon, Kadena to the moon, Flux to the moon, Bitcoin to the moon. Those 4 assets make up a good majority of your portfolio. I think you're gonna be in really good shape. But I'm not a financial advisor. I don't give investing advice. And this video is for entertainment purposes and educational purposes only. Always do your own research and always consult with a financial advisor before making any investing decisions. Love you guys. Peace.